Narcissists will betray you no matter what you do. It's due to their false superiority complex. Narcissists' false superiority complex is really something, to say the least, and this is going to be our main topic for today. Welcome, everyone. The questions for today focus on how and why narcissists frequently view themselves as superior to others. Why do narcissists pretend to be more knowledgeable and competent than they are? And why is it so difficult for them to confess when they are mistaken? If you found this video entertaining or informative, I'd greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to my channel. When I say narcissist, I don't mean someone who can sometimes be a little obnoxious or self-absorbed. Those suffering from narcissism are self-absorbed and preoccupied with their needs and wants. As horrible as it is, people are becoming increasingly indifferent to their fellow humans. They are notoriously difficult to critique, are easily envious, and believe everyone else should share their envy. Most people's competitive natures stem from envy. To characterize someone who is successful, intelligent, or has done something that can hurt one's ego, the term narcissistic wound is often used. These emotional scars can be caused by anyone, from strangers to romantic partners to coworkers to even one's own children. Because of this, one-upmanship frequently occurs as people actively seek to surpass others. They will try to make others look terrible if they cannot improve themselves. Let's examine some of the most typical strategies narcissists employ to elevate their own perceived value in the eyes of others. They routinely engage in these behaviors. So, to begin with, they boast about how brilliant and capable they are by telling lies. Narcissists can try to downplay the value of a degree held by the person they're talking to by claiming that their own degree was essential or required more effort. Or they may simply claim to have 3 or 4 degrees at most. They may also use the phrase completely qualified to describe themselves if they have specific skills, which they'd frequently do. For instance, they might claim to be a qualified forklift driver, electrician, or neurosurgeon. A narcissist who isn't well-versed in the topic can be tempted to make up an answer to a question posed to them in an effort to appear knowledgeable. But if they're conversing with someone with some background knowledge, they might shift gears rapidly. Now they might become extremely protective and violent if challenged or informed they are wrong about something. The problem arises when they are confronted with facts or challenged by a superior, such as a manager or supervisor at work, and they respond by claiming they were misinformed, lied to, or made to look foolish. Never has any bearing on how little they know. Secondly, they try to impress others with how erudite they are by using words. Some people may use the term precipitation to mean the same thing as rain when referring to the weather outside. Have you ever noticed how narcissists tend to sprinkle their word salad with terms they consider to be intellectual? Some of the terms they might employ when elaborating on their point are literally, rationally, and nevertheless. It's also possible that they'll employ a lot of technical terms that only experts will recognize. No valid criticism can come from someone who doesn't understand the subject. Sometimes they hear words that they perceive to be intellectually stimulating. They understand the meaning of these words but employ them in unusual and amusing contexts. When others don't grasp what the narcissist is describing, the narcissist may accuse them of being too dense to grasp such elementary concepts. Third, they only associate with other individuals who have the same level of intelligence, wealth, fame, and social standing as themselves, and they pretend to be part of that exclusive group. This might be used as an illustration of the type of thing that happens at the office. Perhaps you've noticed that one of your coworkers is always chatting up the boss or other powerful colleagues. They may find those who are on the same level as them to be unfriendly. Some employees may even try to play the role of a manager by issuing directives, delegating work, checking in for progress reports, and even deciding when their teammates get to take lunch. 4. The tendency to assume leadership. They are the ones who steer projects and step up to the plate when things go wrong. This may involve advising someone on their legal predicament, despite the narcissist's lack of legal training, or helping them through their medical issues, despite their lack of medical training. What to do about a bothersome neighbor, or where to find a good house to buy, are just 2 examples of the kinds of things they might recommend. Sometimes they do know what's best, despite their constant assurances to the contrary. Usually, however, they simply like the power of persuasion and the sound of their own voices. If their advice proves effective, they can finally claim, "I saved you." Maybe they'll reply, "Well, I was working behind the scenes to save you," if things weren't as dire as they feared. If everything doesn't go as planned, they may try to claim, "Well, I never said that," or "You didn't do it the way I ordered you to." They may even manufacture a catastrophe just so they may come to the rescue. If they start spreading stories about one person to another, they may mediate a fight between the two parties. Fifth, their advice is rarely correct, and there's always something wrong with it. They'll think of something better to do or figure out how to. Or, if they hear something that could be useful, they might repeat it, but in a slightly different way, as if it were their own. In other words, if it's a unanimously supported concept or idea among the group members, they'll potentially look for difficulties that aren't there or aren't crucial. As an alternative, they may demand a minor adjustment just to feel like they're making a difference. Sixth, narcissists may state they're highly sensitive to the feelings of others by citing some tests or scientific proof to support their claim. Online testing revealed that they score high on the empathy scale. Perhaps they were advised by a therapist that their level of concern was excessive. It's possible they'd have a genius-level IQ. One more experiment confirmed it. However, if you're paying closely, you'll see that no one ever witnesses them taking these tests or even learns the results. Narcissists will utilize these tests to exaggerate their accomplishments, attributes, and selflessness. Or they'll use the results to justify their fantastic career and claim their relationship, or even their own children, are holding them back. 7. No matter what they do, they will not change their beliefs, since doing so would be too damaging to their fragile ego. They would reveal a character's weakness if they gave up and stopped trying. It could be a sign of frailty, flaw, or error. Regarding other people, they'd frequently employ and seize upon the same strategies. They might respond to criticism or questioning with a condescending laugh, roll of the eyes, wave of the hand, or a simple dismissal. The evidence right in front of them is irrelevant. In most cases, narcissists take a personal stance and aim an attack at the individual rather than their argument or position. That may require calling attention to the other person's flaws, no matter how long ago they occurred, trash their company, their age, and their appearance. It's normal practice to generalize about someone by placing them in a pre-existing category. In an effort to undermine their rival, they will inevitably attack their credibility. Do you consider yourself a scientist? How about a lawyer? It doesn't matter if the other person is a lawyer or a scientist. Having a high grade in a subject isn't enough. Their cognitive bias causes them to always look for flaws in the other person's argument or position. Some people believe that attacking others is simpler than protecting themselves. Another option is for narcissists to intentionally mislead others. They often overstate matters, lie, and even turn aggressive. That would be less of an uphill battle than admitting ignorance or being wrong outright. Someone else's rightness, greater success, or achievements prove that they are evil, dishonest, or exploitative. Or it might become a pity party for the host. They could have achieved greatness, but they settled for less, were deprived of their opportunity, or were otherwise hampered in some way. Because a person with pathological narcissism isn't typically receptive to new ideas or experiences, they rarely mature. Additionally, they have a fragile egos, making it difficult for them to yield any sort of ground without coming across as weak. Most people tend to make matters even more difficult for themselves, constantly making themselves look ridiculous in an attempt to improve their appearance. These are 7 ways in which narcissists can fool others into thinking they are superior to them. Obviously, I could have expanded upon this a great deal. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment below. Please consider subscribing to my channel for future updates on mental health related issues if you enjoyed this video and found it informative or helpful. Please stay tuned for further updates.